Hey there. Are you feeling like the whole world just collapsed beneath your feet? Is the pain of failure squeezing your heart so tight that every breath feels heavy? Are the ghosts of what if and should have haunting you, making it impossible to lift your head and look forward? Do you feel alone in a deep pit of regret and fear, as if you'll never find the light again? If this is how you feel right now, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Because this story is for you. It's not empty comfort, but a vivid proof of the extraordinary power inside every person. The power to rise, to heal, and to start over, even when everything seems lost. Ryan's story began at the top. He was a talented architect, with bold ideas and an amazing ability to bring them to life. His latest project, a groundbreaking residential complex, was not only the peak of his career, but a lifelong dream. He put everything on the line: time, money, reputation, and above all, a burning belief in himself and his team. The groundbreaking ceremony was grand, and the future looked bright. But life rarely follows a straight path. A small error in geological surveys, an unforeseen technical flaw, combined with pressure from time and massive costs, turned the dream into a nightmare. The construction faced a serious failure, forcing a halt and risking collapse. The incident shocked the media. Partners pulled out, investors turned away. Ryan went from hero to the center of criticism, mockery, and blame overnight. His company went bankrupt, reputation shattered, and he lost everything, left with massive debt and a heavy burden of guilt. That failure took not only Ryan's career and money, but also his identity. The Ryan of before, dynamic, creative, confident, shrunk into a rented small apartment. He avoided friends and family. Sunlight seemed blinding. Phone calls startled him. Every morning was a fierce battle against the urge to sink back into eternal sleep to escape the harsh reality. Fear crept into every corner of his mind. Fear of ridicule, judgment, and never being able to start over. He told himself he was a failure, that it was over. He slammed the door on his life. Months passed in self-imposed captivity. Ryan barely lived, drowning in darkness. He knew he couldn't stay like that, but the mental paralysis was too strong to move. He read books, listened to motivational podcasts, but it all felt like passing wind. His mind knew he had to get up, but his heart and body were motionless. This was the depth of despair. Not just sadness, but complete paralysis of the will to act. One rainy afternoon, sitting blankly watching raindrops hit the window, Ryan remembered his father's words. Life is not about how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up. Those words, at his lowest moment, rang in his mind, not as a lecture, but a faint spark of light. He looked around his messy room, looked at himself in the mirror, a worn-out person with vacant eyes. A wave of disgust rose, not for his situation, but for surrendering to himself. Yes, he had failed badly in business, but the greatest failure now was letting fear and regret kill his spirit. In that painful awakening moment, a small flame ignited inside Ryan. It wasn't a burst of confidence, but a flicker of anger. Anger at his own weakness, anger at letting himself sink so low. That very anger, strangely, became the first motivation to pull him out of the mud. He couldn't immediately reach for greatness, but he could do one small thing, a very small thing. He stood up, went to the bathroom. Looking in the mirror, he shaved, cut his hair, took a proper shower. That was the first step, a simple physical act, but hugely symbolic. It marked a refusal to continue sinking into ruin. The next day, he didn't search for $1 million project. He just cleaned his apartment, tossed out unneeded things, wiped dust. Cleaning the physical space was also clearing his mental space. Every old item thrown away was a psychological burden lifted. Then he began walking outside every day. At first, just a few blocks, breathing fresh air, feeling the sunshine. Gradually, longer walks. He started noticing the world he had long ignored. He saw new buildings rising, projects under construction. The pain of the past was still there, but now, instead of breaking him, it sparked something else: curiosity, then desire. He realized that although his project had failed, his passion for architecture and building still burned quietly. The scars of failure were not the end, but the most valuable lessons on what not to do. Ryan didn't rush to find big opportunities. He started with the smallest tasks: simple design consulting for small firms, even low-level site supervision jobs compared to before. He accepted everything, working humbly and with a learning attitude. He didn't fear curious stares or whispers about his past. There were days of discouragement and wanting to quit. Small project failures and doors slammed shut. But every time he stumbled, he recalled the hard lesson. Failure is temporary. Surrender is permanent. He wouldn't let himself sink back. He allowed himself to be sad, disappointed briefly, then got up, dusted off, and moved on. He learned to break big goals into tiny, doable steps. When overwhelmed, he focused on just the next step. Finish this step, then the next. Little by little, those small steps took him far. Ryan didn't just rebuild his career. More importantly, he rebuilt himself. He became stronger, humbler, more compassionate. He understood the value of persistence, learning from mistakes, and never losing hope. He no longer feared failure because he knew that even if he fell, he could get up. The scars of the past were no longer burdens, but proof of the extraordinary strength he found within. Today, Ryan isn't the tech mogul he once was, but he is a respected architect building sustainable, meaningful projects for communities. He has rebuilt a balanced, happy, meaningful life. Most importantly, he found peace in his soul and faith in himself, more precious than any business empire. To you, listening to this story, if you feel you are at the bottom of failure, if pain and regret chain you, remember Ryan's story. The path through is always there, even when it seems hopeless. The greatest lesson isn't that we never fall, but the extraordinary power to get back up after every fall. Remember these truths. Accept the pain, but don't let it define you. Failure hurts, that's real. Allow yourself to feel it, but never let it become your identity. You are not a failure. You are someone who has experienced failure. There's a huge difference. Failure is a lesson, not the end. Every mistake holds priceless lessons. Instead of drowning in regret, analyze what you learned. Those lessons are your most valuable tools for starting over. Break paralysis with the first step. Fear often paralyzes us. Don't wait for huge inspiration or motivation. Just do one small thing, anything, to break the stagnation. Clean your desk, send an email, read a page, anything. Small action creates small momentum, which builds into big momentum. Break the journey into steps. The road to starting over can look long and scary. Don't focus on the final destination right away. Focus only on the next step. Complete it, then think about the next. Step by step, you'll be amazed how far you've come. Cultivate resilience. You'll stumble again, face criticism, and encounter closed doors. That's normal. What matters is how you respond. Allow yourself to rest, heal, then get back up. Resilience isn't never falling. It's never quitting after falling. Rebuild from within. Recovery isn't just external success, but rebuilding self-trust, finding value and purpose. That's the strongest foundation. You have extraordinary power inside you, the power to weather every storm. The past doesn't define your future. Use your scars as proof of your resilience, not reasons to give up. Take a deep breath, stand up, and take your first step right now. The world is still waiting for you. Your greatest story is not over. Wishing you strength and light on your recovery journey.